Okay, today we discuss this topic of risk and return, a very important topic in finance. If you recall, during our first week of session, we encountered this very fundamental principle in finance, the principle of risk and return. And we said that there's this caveat in finance that the higher the assumed risk, the higher is the required return. And it's a very logical principle because nobody will be investing in an instrument or in an investment which has a great amount of risk, and yet the return is very low relative to others that may have low risk and yet provide higher returns. Human nature dictate that generally we are risk averse and we would not take risks that will put us in jeopardy. Of course, there are some who might have a huge risk appetite, but generally, guys, we would like to avoid risk unless we are compensated for that. So this topic for today and Wednesday will be all about risk and return. If you look at our text, okay, we have here an illustration of if you invested $1 at the end of 1899, how much will it be at the end of 2017? So that's 117 years. If you invested in treasury bills, so these are government issued securities, your $1 in 117 years would have been $74. However, if you invested in bonds, okay, your $1 would have been 293. Had you invested in equities or stocks, your $1 would have been 47,661. So that's 47,661 times in 117 years. So you can see here that the the value, the growth of your investment increased by a huge margin if you have invested in equities as compared to bills, as compared to bonds. And this is rightly so because bills are generally less risky than equities. Bills are less risky than bonds because in bills it's the government that borrows, and assuming normal conditions, assuming there's no economic or political turmoil in the government, then the government would easily be able to pay on its debt obligations. Of course, in extraordinary situations, let's say there's political turmoil, there's a civil war, then of course it will be very risky to invest in government securities. However, as I said, guys, generally equities or bonds are more risky than bills. Hence, we have, you notice that the average returns for equities is way higher than the average returns for bills. And this is very consistent with the fundamental principle of risk and return. Now, is it true that the returns, that the risk for equities are higher? Yes. There are many examples, guys, real examples of many people whose investments in stocks got burned. Okay, there is this case in the early 200s, the Enron case. I'm sure you have heard of that. It's a study worth looking into. The Enron company, which had a market capitalization of billions and billions of dollars before, okay, became bankrupt. Okay, and almost overnight, people's investment in that company disappeared into thin air. So kawawa talaga yung mga maapektuhan ng pagiging bankrupt ng Enron. Asa na si Enron? Wala na. Wala na. So you can see, guys, that malaki talaga yung malaki yung risk mas malaki yung risk kapag nag-i-invest tayo sa equities kaysa sa kaysa sa treasury bills or sa treasury bonds or sa private bonds. Okay? So kaya nga, because there's a greater risk investing in these equities, investors would require a greater amount of returns there. So that's the fundamental principle of risk and return. Now in this topic, we're going to learn how do we compute for the returns? How do we compute for the risk of a certain investment? Okay. Below, guys, makikita natin dito. I'm not going through this text, guys, with you. I will assume you're responsible students and you're going to go through this on your own. Unless you have questions about this, you could PM me about it or raise this in class. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to have practical examples of how to compute returns and risk using real values. Okay, so we're going to learn how to compute for risk and return, either for expected prices or for historical prices. Let's start first learning how to compute for risk and return for historical prices. Okay, so when you say historical prices, this means that these are prices of, we're going to use stocks taken from the previous period. Okay, so may I invite you now to please go to Yahoo. Okay, so open any search engine and then click there, Yahoo Finance, and you will be brought to this page. So we're going to access finance.yahoo.com. You can see that Yahoo Finance. Okay, I'll wait for you to open that. Google nyo lang, guys, Yahoo Finance, as you'll be brought here. Click natin to. Okay, so you should be brought to this site. Okay, and once you are here, guys, kindly chat, please, kung ready na kayo, kung yes. Okay, good, thank you. Yes, good. Okay, so you notice, guys, that there are so many financial information here. And may mga headlines, Fed decision, Microsoft, Apple earnings, the week ahead. Okay, so may mga articles about investors must cope with two realities about China, and in discussion yung rare earth materials, may crypto dyan, etc. So you can navigate through Yahoo Finance, and you're going to learn a lot of financial information. For us, guys, what we're going to focus on is learn how to download stock prices. So si Yahoo Finance, meron siyang historical data ng stock prices ng mga publicly listed companies. Okay, baka may question? Thank you. All right. So dito sa bar na to, guys, in search for new symbols or companies, we can type here, if we want to learn about Apple, if you can type Apple, guys, Apple. Yan, makikita nyo, may symbol dito, AAPL. Ito yung ticker symbol ni Apple, TICKER. So this is the name of Apple sa stock market, no? AAPL. So let's open this. Okay, so ito siya, no? So we have here some information about Apple, AAPL. So listed siya sa Nasdaq. Nasdaq is a stock exchange. Then it tells us about the price, kung kailan, ano yung closing price na noong January 21 daw, 4 p.m., it ended at 162.41. This is the price of one share of Apple. It went down by $2.10, or that's a 1.28%, 1.28% decrease, no, in the price of Apple. Tapos below, here you can find here yung more information. This was the previous close, January 19, no? Yung close ni 20 pala, ni Apple. Open, bid, ask. Okay, we're not going to go into these details here. Market capitalization ni Apple, which means that if you multiply the number of shares issued and outstanding ni Apple multiplied by the current market value, 162.41, you'll get the market capitalization of Apple at 2.65 trillion. Okay? Beta is a measure of how risky. Di-discuss natin yan when we go to cost of capital. A measure of beta is a measure of how risky Apple is relative to the market. Okay? You have here price earnings ratio. Ibig sabihin ito, guys, for every $1 of earnings that you get EPS from Apple, you have to buy it at $28.95. So medyo mahal, no? Earnings per share is 5.61, okay, etc. So ito yung mga details about Apple. And then here my plot, no? So let's do this first. Let's click this, yung full screen na to. Okay, so let me just delete this kasi ito yung ginamit namin kanina. Okay. So here you have Apple, and baguhin natin yung date. Okay, you click this. And para pareho tayo, guys, January, lagyan natin January 1 na lang. January 1, 2018. Okay, you can click this actually. Okay, dito. You can write here 1/1/2018, and then gawin natin December 31 na lang. December 31, 2021. So that's 2 years, 3 years, 2018, 2019, 4 years pala, no? 4 years of data, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Okay, then apply natin, guys, apply. All right, so you can see here, guys, the the movement of stock prices of Yahoo for the past 4 years, no? From 2018 to 2021. Now, interestingly, kailan ba nagsimula yung pandemic? January, around February or March, no? March. You notice that dito sa portion na to, no, yung price niya, okay, ang laki ng volume ng trading dito sa mga portion na to. Kita niyo itong bar lines na to. Volume niya ng trading. Tapos, bumaba yung price niya. No? Ibig sabihin, maraming nagbebenta ng price, maraming nagbebenta ng Apple stock. Bumaba yung red dito, yung selling. No? Okay, bumaba yung stock price niya. Pero, parang temporary lang up to March 16, yung lowest dito. And then it rebounded, tapos akyat na naman siya. So apparently, guys, from the plot, parang hindi naman apektado si Apple dun sa COVID na which started mga April, no? February of 2020. February, March, kasi bumalik din siya, umakyat din siya. No? Okay, why do you think this is so, guys? Bakit si Apple, yung price niya, hindi naman, hanggang March 16 lang, bumaba dito. Diba? And it was at 60.49. Yes, Jean?
Sir, kasi po everyone shifted to remote working, yung work from home, so everyone needed to purchase at least a laptop to work with.
Yes, very good, no? Whether iMac, Mac or iPad or uh, yung phone mismo, no? There was an increase in demand for Apple products. Tapos, di ba sarado yung mga stores? So paano yun?
Online po, sir.
Yes,
They have another platform.
Correct. Marami ng platforms yan where people could buy. So hindi na kailangan yung brick and mortar, yung physical store. Kaya, so despite the closing of several malls, shops, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung yung increase ng stock price. Okay? Tuloy-tuloy pa rin, which is indicative of increased revenues. No? Nag-i-increase pa rin siya, and we can test, kung tingnan natin yung income statements ni Apple for the past years, you can see, I'm surmising that tumataas yung revenues niya. Okay? Kasi maraming may on-demand pa yung products niya. So it was not affected by the pandemic. Let's compare that, guys. Saan natin i-compare? Tingnan natin, ha? Ito, tingnan nyo, guys. American Airlines, no? Yan, American Airlines. Sige, tingnan natin, guys. I-compare natin. Click natin to. And then, lakihan na lang natin line size. Tapos, i-red natin. Red. Save. Yan. Okay? Now, you have here a side-by-side comparison with the American Airlines. So, on January 2018, ang price ni American Airlines, 58. Basta mababa pa nga si Apple. Oh. Notice here, guys, dito tingnan nyo, ha. Si American Airlines, per share niya, one share of American Airlines was selling at 58.06. No? Pero at the end, ngayon, at the end of December, ano na to? Sinama pa rin niya yung lagay natin sa okay, sige, dito na lang, no? At the end of January 10, 2022, what happened? Tingnan niyo yung increase ni Apple. It increased by almost 3 times, no? 3 times yung price niya, from 40 naging 170. Ito yung price ni Apple at saka compared to kay American Airlines, 72.12% decrease from January 1. Ganun kababa yung binagsak ng price. Okay? Ni American Airlines from 58 something dito, di ba? 58 naging 18. 16 pa nga. There's 16. So that was a dramatic drop, 72.12. Tapos dito makikita natin dito, guys, di ba? Yung February, March, talagang dito bumagsak talaga. Tapos naka-recover ng konti nung June, pero konti nung 2021. But generally, guys, either kung tumataas siya konti lang, o generally bumababa siya. If we compare the beginning price and the ending price, it went down by 72.12%. Okay, dagdagan pa natin ng comparison. So makikita natin that the plot tells us something about the performance of the company. Okay, and let's see. Later on, guys, pag-aaralan natin si S&P 500. Ipasok din natin to si S&P 500. Okay, gawin natin green yung kulay niya. Save. Okay. So this is S&P 500. No? So si S&P 500 is a basket of 500 stocks. So this is used as a proxy for the market. So when we talk of the equity market in the US, we can use Standard & Poor's as a proxy for that, itong green na to. So kita nyo si Apple, it outperformed the market. Si market kasi, as represented by Standard and Poor's, nag-increase lang siya ng 57.85. Okay, samantalang si Apple 288, no? 288%. Now this is where the beta comes from, guys. Yung beta na kanina na pinakita ko. So kasi si beta is a measurement of the riskiness of the stock relative to the market. Ito yung market natin. Okay, ito yung stock natin. So ang sinasabi dun sa beta kanina, yung pinakita ko sa inyo, Apple is around 4 times riskier than the market. Okay, now ito guys, it tells us about the performance of the price of the stocks. Okay, maglagay pa tayo ng isa. Sino pa kaya? Sino gusto nyo guys? Si Netflix? Okay, Netflix, lagyan natin. Netflix, ito. Lagyan natin ng kulay. Anong kulay ba? Let's make it violet. Okay. Yan, ito si Netflix, no? That's Netflix. So si Netflix, guys, during the pandemic, briefly affected siya, okay? Pero it went up, no? Went up, just like Apple. Pero nung start ng October, November, medyo bumaba siya until andito na siya, no? So very interesting. Bakit ganito yung baba ni Netflix? No? Although it still increased by 79% higher than October 18. Pero it's interesting to study bakit siya bumaba ito from November na ang price niya hindi dinidisplay dito. Dalawa lang dinidisplay na price. So we can see it here. Pwede natin change to price. Anyway, so dito guys makikita natin yung concept ng risk and return. So sa tingin nyo guys, among these 4 stocks, which company generated the highest return? Notice return yung tinitingnan natin dito, no? Nagsimula tayo para pare-pareho yung nila. We're not looking at the prices here. We're looking at the returns, no? So start ng January 1, 2018. So lahat sila 0 and then hanggang January 2022, no? So which of the companies here exhibited the highest return? Anyone?
Si Apple po, sir.
Apple, correct, no? Apple. Which company generated the highest risk? What do you think, guys?
Sir, would that be yung airline company po?
Dali, who's this?
Angelica po.
Angelica, thank you. Thank you. Bakit Angelica, Bakit American Airlines yung pinili mo? Highest risk.
For risk? Kasi po, I'm not sure po if they're still running, but like, they're still in the market. They're below yung green po yung proxy, diba? That's for the market.
Yeah, correct. Oh.
Because they're below that, so essentially they're not receiving any good return, but rather they're still staying in risk.
Negative nga, di ba?
Yes po.
Compared to the date of origin natin, which is January 1, 2018, the returns, it went down by 72%. So they lost, no? They lost in value, 72%. While Apple increased in value almost 3 times. Si Netflix naman, 80% times. Yung market, 58 times. So of all of these stocks, Apple and Netflix was outperforming the market, while American Airlines was below the market. No? Diba? So, yung sinabi ni Angelica, on one perspective, that's correct. No? So it looks like American Airlines is the most risky kasi siya yung pinaka ano eh, siya, pababa pa rin siya, di ba? The price of American Airlines was going down. However, guys, we're going to look at risk from another perspective. Sa atin, by definition, ang risk is the most volatile. Okay? Sino sa tingin nyo guys dito ang pinaka-volatile na, ano, na returns?
Netflix.
Netflix, pinaka-volatile.
Yes, sir.
Okay, pwede. Who answered? Sorry. Sorry, hindi
Gabe.
na. Gabe, sorry. Gabe, bakit kaya? Bakit si Netflix?
Kasi sir, with Netflix, they were able to still go above with outperform the market. Pero you can see in the final quarter na they went back to almost the original price na 2020.
Pero 79.68 yung increase nila. 79.68% compared to yung 2018, yung January 1. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. Okay, that's a very logical answer. Pero guys, technically from a financial perspective, ang risk kasi it's a measurement of the volatility of the stock. Sino sa tingin dito sa apat na stock na to ang pinaka-volatile? Any guess, guys?
Sir, Netflix po ba?
Netflix? Hindi ba si Apple, guys? Siya yung pinakamalayo narating mo compared to the start, di ba? Siya yung talagang pinakamalaking upswing, no? So kung titingnan natin, guys, if we're going to look at Apple, for example, kung hahanapin natin yung average, ang 288 average yan, using simple average, so that's around 144, no? So ang banda dito kunyari, no? Around here yung 144%. Banda dito. So kasi ang volatility, guys, is a measurement of how your stock deviates from a certain standard, and that standard that's used is the mean. Okay? So ito 141%. Can you see the percent there? So kung titingnan natin yung mga means nila, guys, si Apple ang may pinakamalaking deviation from the average. So in that regard, guys, from a financial perspective, Apple had the highest risk. Okay? Which is sound kasi siya yung pinakamataas na return, no? Okay, so this is very consistent with the principle of risk and return. So we're not saying that very risky si American Airlines. From a layman's perspective, yeah, napaka-risky niya kasi bumabagsak yung price, no? Bumagsak ng 72%. But risk is all about volatility. Yung fluctuation ng price niya. Kung titingnan natin, guys, si American Airlines consistently naman na maliit yung pagkababa niya, di ba? And if we look at the highest and the lowest niya, nasa band lang siya na hindi masyadong pataas baba. Although pababa siya, pero yung band niya hindi masyadong steep. Unlike si Apple, guys, tingnan nyo, at the start and at the end, grabe na yung inangat niya. We're not saying that, di ba, hindi naman natin sinasabi yung na kapag risky, ibig sabihin nun, dapat negative yun. No. Sa finance, guys, ang measurement natin ng risk is volatility. How volatile is our stock price? How volatile is the return of the stock? Okay, so that's what we mean by risk on a financial perspective. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, guys, magda-download tayo ng stock prices. Okay? So, let me go back, guys. Let me go back here. Back. Okay, so balik tayo kay Apple, no? Ang kagandahan, guys, sa Yahoo Finance, you can have other statistics. Ayan. Ito, guys, yung sinasabi natin ng beta. Beta, 5-year monthly, 1.2. Ano ibig sabihin ng beta? Beta is a measure of the relative riskiness of the stock Okay, relative to the market. So kino-compare siya sa market, ibig sabihin mas 1.2 times riskier ang Apple compared to the market. Okay? So ano ibig sabihin ng 1.2 na to? For every 1% increase in S&P 500, kunyari tumaas yung stock ng 1.1%, si Apple tataas ng 1.2%. Okay? Pag si market bumaba ng 1%, si Apple bababa ng 1.2%. So it goes both ways, no? Okay siya kapag bullish yung market. Okay, andali. Kanina may nakita akong ano eh. Let's backtrack lang ako dito ha. Sa summary ulit, no? Summary, ito pala yung beta natin. Ito yung 1.2 na beta. Okay? So compare natin, tingnan natin guys, tingnan natin sa, let me see, yung AAL. AAL, yung American Airlines. Tingnan natin yung beta niya. Okay. Alright. Okay. Dito makikita natin guys na pag 5 years yung titingnan natin pag 5 years, mas risky si American Airlines. Kung 5 years, 5 years na monthly data ang titingnan natin. Kasi 1.66 yung beta niya. Ibig sabihin, it's 1.66 times riskier than the market. Okay. Pero yung kanina tinignan natin, it was only from 2018. Okay? Kaya kung yung time frame na yon, no, it looks like mas risky si Apple. So yung riskiness guys is a function of time. Function of time yan we cannot generalize and say that Apple is riskier than AAL or AAL is riskier than Apple. You have to define ano yung time frame natin. No? Ano yung time frame natin? And then from that time frame, pwede natin masabi na during this period, mas risky si Apple kaysa kay American Airlines. Okay? Pero on a 5-year period, kasi ito sabi, 5-year, tas monthly data pa, mas risky si American Airlines. No? Ito yung 5-year plot niya. No? 16.31 na lang siya. No? Yung price niya. Compared to at the start here, 16.55, 16.6, tas naging 16.31. Pero in 2018, tumaas pa siya dito. No? 16.74. Okay, so I hope guys, I hope na nakukuha niyo yung sinasabi ko. Clear ba yan guys? Pause muna ako. No?
Clear naman po, sir.
Okay, good. No? So yung measurement ng beta guys, ito, importante sa atin to. Beta. Pag ang beta is more than 1 guys, it means mas risky yan. Mas risky yan siya. It moves, it's more volatile than the market. If the beta, for example, is 1, ibig sabihin nun, it moves alongside the market. If the market, which is represented by, as I said a while ago, yung S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500, pag nag-increase si Standard & Poor's ng 10%, si stock natin mag-i-increase din ng 10%. Si Apple naman, pag nag-increase si S&P 500 ng 10%, si Apple mag-i-increase ng 12%. Pag si market bumaba ng 10%, si Apple bababa ng 10%. Pag si market bababa ng 10%, si Apple bababa ng 12% because of the beta here. Okay? So the higher the beta, the higher the riskier is the asset compared to others. No? So kunyari, isang asset na 0.9 lang yung 0.9 yung beta niya. Ibig sabihin less risky yon. Bakit less risky? Kasi kung si asset tumaas ng 1, no? Ng 1%, yung stock na yon tataas lang ng 0.9%. So it's not very sensitive. Kunyari 0.1 lang yung beta niya, wala. No? Pag 0.1 lang yung beta niya, pag tumaas si market ng 10%, ang itataas lang niya 1%. So not so much. No? Pag bumaba si market ng 10%, ang ibababa lang niya 1%. So it does not move so much according to market fluctuations. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng beta natin. Okay. Beta is a measurement of risk also. Okay. So, balik tayo kay Apple. One good thing about Yahoo Finance, marami siyang Marami siyang data na pinapakita. Okay? So let's now go to here to historical data. By the way, may mga financials din yan. No? Okay, yan. Summary ng total revenues. Diba? Total revenues. If you can see guys, 2018, 265. Tapos bumaba ng konti sa 2019, 260. And then it rebounded sa 2020, 274. And then grabe, tinan nyo to. August, September 2021, 365. Okay? 365 yung ano niya, yung revenues niya. And you can look at kunyari net income then from 59 again 94. Okay? So you can you have a rich data here. And punta tayo sa historical data. Okay. So itong gagawin natin guys, magda-download tayo ng stock prices kasi we're going to learn how to compute for risk and return. Okay. So Apple tayo, Apple, and you're going to do the same guys for these companies. Paki-copy guys sa Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Google, and Netflix. Okay, plus dagdagan natin ang Microsoft. So we're going to download 7 companies. We're going to learn now Apple lang. Tapos it's your assignment guys to download the other stock prices. And then on Wednesday, dapat yung stock prices natin naka-ready na ha para we save on time para hindi na during the class tayo magda-download. So pakita ko na lang sa inyo kung paano because once you know how to do this, madali nating i-download yung iba. Okay, so we have here time period. Gawin natin para pare-pareho tayo is start date 1 January 1, 20 gawin natin 2018. Yung ginawa natin kanina is ito 12/31/2021. Okay. So ito guys ang start date natin na January 1, 2018 end date December 31, 2021. Okay, done. Okay, ito na yan, no? Here. And then here, you have historical prices ang kailangan natin. Hindi dividends, hindi capital gain. Kailangan natin yung historical prices. Then daily, okay, so ibibigay sa atin 4 years to. 4 years, ang average trading days per year is 252. So 252 times 4, that will be around 1,000, no? Around 1,000. Masyado malaki. Liitan na lang natin. Gawin na lang natin guys weekly. Okay, anyway, the principle of computation is the same. Weekly na lang so that at least reduce yung observations natin. So this is 4 years times weekly of 52. So that this is around 200 plus. 200 plus observations. Okay. Okay, again guys, January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2021. Historical prices, weekly data guys, apply natin, apply. Apply, so makikita natin dito, yan, weekly na, no? December 27, December 20, December 13, okay, hanggang up to January 1, 2018. Okay? All right. Okay, and then, na-apply na natin, pwede na natin i-download. Download natin. And once you download it, guys, okay natin, can do it. Okay. Ito, you'll have this. In your case, it will be apple.csv. So, Apple provides us with a comma-separated value file. Okay, kindly open that. Open natin yun. So, pakibuksan natin yung Apple file na yan. Okay, pause muna ako. I'll wait for you to open the file. And once you're done, guys, once you have opened the file, kindly pakichat, please. So that I know. Thank you. Let's wait for the others, guys. I would appreciate your feedback. So let's give your classmates a few more seconds. Okay, so I hope the others guys were able to follow along. Okay. Any questions, guys? All right. So what do we have, guys? First, we need to save this as an Excel file because it's CSV file siya. So I want you to save this file. Save as natin. Okay, I'm going to save it in my folder. Okay, lagay ko na lang Apple. Sa inyo, pwede nyo save as Apple. Ako, ilalagay ko lang Apple-1 kasi marami na ako ibang Apples dito. And then let's save it as an Excel file, not as a CSV file. So save natin as an XLS file, no? Okay, make sure na nakasave siya as an Excel file kasi may mga manipulations tayong gagawin dito. Okay, if you take a look, guys, at our data from January 1, 2018 hanggang December 27, 209 observations all in all, no? 210 to -1 kasi may title tayo dito. So 209 data points, which was what we were expecting. Kasi on the average, 252 trading days per year times 4 years, so that's around 210. Okay. So, okay, in Excel, guys, marami tayong pwedeng magawa dito. Okay, let me just illustrate this a bit. If we highlight, let me just check, no? Highlight natin lahat. Tapos mag-insert tayo. I don't know if isasama ni Excel yung volume, hindi yata yung volume. And then, recommended charts. All charts. Not the box and whisker plot. Ito stock, guys, stock. Okay, so ito, open, high, low, close, pwede. Volume, high, low, close. So different, guys, different plots, no? Sa stock market. So we have here HLC, ito, OHLC, open, high, low, close. Ito naman, volume, high, low, close. Ito, volume, high, low, close. Let's see this first. Bakit siya naka-gray out? Okay. Ito na lang tayo. Open, high, low, close. Mhm. Arrange the data on your sheet in this order: opening, high, low, closing. Use dates or stock names as labels to create
Sir,
this.
it's grayed out from me also.
Ah?
It's grayed out, the okay button.
Nga, pero ang sabi kasi, yeah, grayed out siya, pero to create this, arrange the data on your sheet in this order: opening, high, low, close. Okay, so dapat ang i-ano lang natin ito. Ito lang highlight natin. Yan. Open, high, low, close lang. So, recommended charts ulit. All charts. So dito tayo sa stock. Yan, pwede na. No? Okay. Okay. Hindi masyadong kita guys, ano, kasi masyadong malaki yung ano natin. Okay, let me, just to discuss this quickly, let me just, ang gawin natin yung ano lang, yung open, high, low, close. Ito lang guys, ito. First 20 lang. Yan, okay? Hanggang ano lang, hanggang, sabihin natin hanggang May lang, hanggang May. From January up to May. Tapos i-ano ulit natin, insert. Recommended charts, all charts. Ito na pala, stock na. Stock. There. Open, high, low, close. Okay, there. No? Okay, so you can see here that this is a candlestick chart. Pwede natin ayusin to ng konti. Okay, let me just quickly format axis. Kasi ang pinaka-lowest niya, gawin kong 35 to 50 na lang. Wag 0, 35 up to 50 para mas makita natin yung ano. Okay, there. Okay, so tingnan nyo guys, no? Ito. Candlestick yan, no? Sa Excel. Okay, pwede natin baguhin yung kulay niyan. May mga colors mo siya. Okay. Wala masyadong choices dito, no? Okay, ito na lang, no? All right. So here guys, you have here, ito yung ang tawag dito candlestick. May mga black tayo at saka may mga white. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ano ibig sabihin? Yung mga white guys, yun yung mga nag-gain siya. Ibig sabihin nag-increase yung price. Itong candle natin guys, okay? Yung candle natin dito, yun yung open, tapos yung baba, yun ang close. Ito naman yung black, okay, baliktad, no? Yung open, guys, yung nasa baba, yung closing nasa taas. Ito naman yung open nasa taas, yung sa black, yung baba nasa closing. Bakit? Paano ko nalaman yun? Kasi pag white, guys, ibig sabihin nag-gain. So ibig sabihin yung opening natin opening natin nasa baba, yung closing nasa taas. Tingnan nyo. Opening 42.54, closing 43.75. Diba? Okay? You got this, guys? 1, 2, 3. Yung pang-apat, tingnan natin. Yung pang-apat. Yung pang-apat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito. No? Opening 44.25, closing 42.875. Bumaba, no? Bumaba. That's why it's colored black. Ibig sabihin, ang opening niya ito, guys, this one, yung nasa taas ng candle, this is 44, okay? Tapos ito yung close niya. This is around 42. Yun. Tapos itong mga wick niya, ito, so this is the highest price and this is the lowest price. So that's why this is called OHLC. OHLC. Open, high, low, close. Okay, so this is an example of a candlestick plot. Okay, of course you can use a simple line plot lang. Okay, just to illustrate to you that Excel also has provisions for candlesticks. Ang tawag dito candlesticks. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Kinopy ko yung worksheet na to. Preserve natin to. Tapos ito i-manipulate natin. So let me delete this. Let me delete this. Okay, we're going to make use of the adjusted close. Iba yung close sa adjusted close kasi yung closing price, guys, pwedeng nababago yan because of sorry, dividends, stock splits, may mga adjustments na ginagawa at the end of the day. Okay, so what we're going to use is, tanggalin natin dito. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to also delete the volume. Delete this. Okay. I'm going to put here Apple. Okay. Apple, we have 209 observations. Para mas mabilis, guys, I'm going to hide the first, I'm just going to show the first 5 and the last 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there. Hide natin. Hide. Okay, so that's it's easier to manipulate. Okay. So we have the stock prices of Apple. The first thing that we're going to learn is how to compute the returns. Yan. Paano ba kino-compute yung returns ng stock? So ang mako-compute natin dito is weekly returns, ano? Kasi weekly yung data natin. If our data is daily, then of course we'll be able to compute daily returns. If it's yearly, so it will be yearly returns. So depende dun sa data natin. Okay, so first, guys, how do we compute for the returns? Okay, meron tayong tinatawag na simple returns. Okay, and then simple returns natin is just value at time t divided by value at time t minus 1. Okay, minus 1. We have met this formula before, guys. Na-discuss natin to. No? So let me just control 1 subscript. Tapos ito, para mas klaro sa atin. Highlight ko, control 1 and then subscript. There. Okay. So simple returns natin is simply just the difference, just the ratio between the value today divided by the value the previous period and then minus 1. No? So, for example, dito, kay Apple, it's this week divided by this one. Guys, sandali lang, just a moment. I-off ko lang to. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's compute for the returns, no, of Apple, weekly returns to. So first, kukumputin natin yung returns between January 1 and January 8. So it will simply be equal to the price, okay, on January 8 divided by the price on January 1 minus 1. Yan. Okay, so is this clear, guys? So that's the return, weekly return, no? Between 1-1 and 1-1, 1-8 and 1-1. Okay, and then of course we can just double click this and then it will copy down to hanggang dun sa last week natin. Okay, so meron na tayo, ito yung mga natin, simple returns natin. Okay, weekly returns natin to, no? Weekly returns natin. So what we do is we get the weekly average. Average lang. Hindi natin average. Okay, so the average, let me put this up here. Is equal to average of our returns. Okay. Let me convert this into percentage para mas madaling basahin. There. Okay. So that's how you compute for historical returns. Just get the returns between the period kung daily man yan and daily returns, and then once you have computed for all, then you just get the average. Okay, so for the period January 1, 2018 hanggang December 31, 2021, okay, Apple had weekly average returns of 0.783. No? Yun ang average returns ni Apple, 0.783. Okay, so as I said, guys, there are other ways to compute for the returns. another return is the log. No? Log returns. Ano naman yung log returns, guys? Copy ko lang to. Control C. Control V. So ang log returns naman, guys, you just get the log the log of the value at time t over the value at time t minus 1. Okay? It's not the log of the simple returns. No? Hindi kasi pwedeng mag-log ng ng negative number. Okay, so let's do that, guys. Let's get the log returns. So lagyan natin log returns. Log returns, and this will be equal to, we're going to use the natural logarithm, natural log, log ng this price divided by this price. Okay, so it's quite similar to the simple returns. Now you'll notice that the log returns will be smaller. Kasi sa log ini-scale yung values. To scale the values. Okay, so let's copy that down. Okay, i-compare natin, guys. Mas maliit, no? Kahit sa negative, guys, no? Negative 0.463, negative 0.047. Mas maliit yung 47. It's to the left of 0.0463. Okay, pause muna ako, guys. And bago ako mag-pause, we can now copy this average. Okay, ito na lang gamitin natin for our purposes.
Sir, how do you do simple return again? Sorry, can you show the formula for that, sir?
Simple returns. Okay, flash ko lang, ha. It's just the quotient, the ratio of the value over the previous value minus 1. Thank you for that question. Okay ba? Nakuha?
And lastly, sir, for the final cell,
Average?
yung December 27, sir.
Kinapila natin pababa. Right click nyo lang. Yan. So ito, parehong formula lang yan. No? Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Question po.
Yeah, please. Question lang, guys, ha? Hindi tayo,
Sir,
hindi sprint to. No? Yes?
Sir, yung average ko po, 0.785. Hindi siya 0.783. I tried
0.7.
rounding it off na po. 0.785.
0.785. Okay.
Same po dun sa log returns po. 6.697 ako po.
Okay.
I
Yung,
tried
yung
rounding
data
it
ba
off
natin,
po.
paano mo kinapi yung ano? Ano mga, can you please increase the column B? Tingnan mo nga. Kung
Okay.
41.843315 yung nakukuha mong value.
41.3. Wait lang po.
Sige.
3.3. Hindi po sir. 3.3. Ayun po, 3.315 po.
Pareho
Same
lang,
naman.
no? Yung
Opo.
pangalawa, 42.340304.
34304. Same po.
One last. Itong last, 178.1 and then apat na 9 then 7.
Opo.
Okay. Sa simple return, i-expand mo nga yung ano, yung width ng column. Is it 0.01
Opo.
1942768?
427. 696 po sir ako.
696. Sandali medyo nagkakaiba, no? Kasi depende din sa ano sa ewan ko baka sa algorithm ni Excel. But it's okay, no? Kung
Okay po.
pag ganyan lang naman yung difference, hindi ang mahirap kung ang average mo 0.965 malayo, no? Kunyari pag masyado malayo. Pero pag ganyan, rounding off lang yan ng ano ng software and we can't do anything about it, no? So it's okay.
Okay
Don't panic guys kung medyo magkaiba tayo ng konti, no?
Okay po. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Good. Okay, may question pa ba guys? Okay, now may ibabato lang ako yung konting ano sa inyo guys ha. Konting research lang for you. Hindi isa-submit. Medyo ano lang guys, tingin lang kayo sa internet kung bakit mas preferred yung log returns kaysa kay simple returns. What's the reason why it's better to use log returns compared to simple returns? And there's a reason for that. And hopefully guys, if I ask you this coming Wednesday kung ano yon, I hope you'll be able to answer. Okay? All right. So we're going to use the log returns, itong 0.695. This is the average for the past 4 years, no? From 2018 to 2021. Now, let's learn how to compute for the risk. Paano kino-compute si risk? Both of these are measures, quantitative measures, yung returns at saka yung risk. So, risk has something to do with the volatility. And we know guys, from your stat, ano ba yung nagme-measure ng volatility? What do you recall from your statistics? Pag sinabi natin volatility, yung measure yan ng deviation. Okay? Measure of dispersion niya from a certain benchmark. What have you learned in your stat? And what's one measure of volatility, of dispersion? Anyone? Clue guys, may tawag dun, second moment. May third moment pa nga. Tsaka may fourth moment. Fourth moment ng dispersion. Third moment ng dispersion. Ano yung second moment ng dispersion? Anyone? Any volunteer guys? Kung ano yung ano yung measure ng volatility? Second moment, dispersion, volatility. Ano yan? Alam niyo yan guys, natutunan yan definitely. Yung isa letter V, tapos yung related sa kanya yung letter S. Ano kaya yung letter V dun? Dispersion, volatility, second moment. Anyone guys? What's D, guys? I'm sure na-meet yan. Palagi ko, elementary pa lang, na-meet yun na yan. Pati high school. Pati sa college, na-meet nyo ulit yan. Minsan, hindi nawawala yung topic na yan. Ano to, guys? Measure of volatility. Dispersion. Anyone? Okay, variance, guys. Variance, di ba? Or standard deviation. Measure yan ng volatility, di ba? Measure ng volatility, measure ng dispersion niya. In fact, di ba, ano ba yung formula ng ano? Ano ba yung formula ng variance o standard deviation? Insert lang tayo ng symbol dito. Okay, sum. Insert. So returns minus R mean tapos squared divided by n minus 1. Okay, ayusin lang natin yung formula natin. Subscript. This one, control 1, superscript. Okay, di ba ito guys? If you recall from your stat classes, this is the measurement for your variance, di ba? Tapos pag kunin natin yung square root niyan, standard deviation. Okay. Yan ang ginagamit guys as a measurement for risk. How volatile are the returns of our stock? Okay, so let's compute for that. Let's compute for the risk and the standard deviation. First, compute muna natin yung, copy muna natin ito. Okay, compute natin guys yung deviations no, from the mean and then square natin. Okay, so this will be equal to yung return na to, i-minus natin, lalagyan natin ng pangalan to guys. Let's put this R mean. Okay, para mas mabilis natin so this is equal to the returns, the log returns ang gagamitin natin minus si R mean. Yan. R mean and then square natin. Okay. Okay, gawin natin itong number na lang. Okay. So this is now the deviation. No? Ang difference nitong log returns na to dun sa average log returns is this amount. Okay, so we can now copy that. So we now have the R minus R mean squared. So na yun. Ang gagawin natin, isa-sum up natin, tapos i-divide natin by n minus 1. So here, let's first compute for the variance and then the standard deviation. These are both measurements of risk. Lagay ko lang dito. Lagay natin dito average return. This is also risk. Okay. So sige, compute na natin guys, no? So yung variance natin guys will be equal to, it will be this one. This is the variance. Variance 2. And then the standard deviation is simply the square root of this one. Okay, so variance natin will be equal to just the sum of all of this. Diba? Sum ng deviations from the mean squared. This is already R minus R mean squared. Okay? And then we divide it by, ano yung N natin, guys? What's our N? What's our N there, guys? Tsaka ba't N minus 1? Do you recall, guys, yung reason kung bakit N minus 1 and not divide by N? Anyone? N minus 1 kasi. Letter S, guys. This is only a hello? Lang, unmute. Yeah, thank you, Angelica. You're correct. This is only a sample, di ba? Kasi pag population to, divide by N yan. Definitely, hindi naman to complete data, no? So, divide by N minus 1. So, N minus 1 nino, guys. Nung data natin, ito. Or pwedeng ito. Or pwedeng ito rin. Kasi pare-pareho lang sila ng count. Not the price, no? Kasi the returns, guys, the returns will be the number of prices minus 1. Laging minus 1 yung returns natin kasi may isang mali-left out tayo kasi you're taking a look at the period, no? Diba? Kaya if this is 209, 208 na lang to, no? Okay, so let's use Excel. Pa-count na lang natin kay Excel para mas mabilis tayo. Count nitong kinukuhaan natin ng ano, 'di ba, ng variance. It's this one. Pero ang gawin natin, guys, huwag na natin isama yung dulo tapos magma-minus 1 pa tayo, no? Sum na lang, count na lang ng n, huwag na natin isama yung isa. Yeah, that's a shortcut. Kaysa naman ano pa natin lahat tapos ima-minus 1 din naman natin, no? Okay? So that's our variance, no? Percent ko nga siya. Okay, 0.172%. That's our variance. Okay, let me flash the formula again. Okay, paki-chat naman, guys, kung nakuha niyo yung ano, kung nakuha niyo yung variance. Feedback please, guys, kung okay na kayo. Waiting for your response, guys. Okay. Okay, thank you. I hope the others are able to follow. Okay. So this is our risk in terms of variance. Usually, ang ginagamit natin dito, guys, is standard deviation. The square root ng variance natin. There. Gawin natin percentage then. Okay. All right. Ay, mali. Okay. Ito yung risk natin, yung variance natin, and then ito yung standard deviation natin. Standard deviation natin. Okay, actually guys, pwede natin ginamit sana yung ano, yung STDEV, no? May formula sa ano na STDEV, STDEV.S. Okay? STDEV.S, standard deviation ng mga ano natin, ng mga log returns. So hinahanap natin yung standard deviation nito ng log returns natin. Kasi ang ginawa natin, nag-long cut tayo, no? We use this formula. We use this formula to compute for the variance and the standard deviation. Eh pwede namang diretso ng standard deviation ng mga returns natin. Let's see if we get the same answer. Okay? So, gawin natin percent to. Parehong-pareho yan, guys. No? Same. No? Same. So, this was actually the faster way to do it. Hindi na natin kinompute yung deviation niya from the mean. In-square natin. And then we sum them up. And then we divide by n-1. But we did this, guys, just to illustrate. No? Para alam natin kung ano nangyayari. In fact, sa variance, ganun din. var.s, variance ng mga returns. Guys, hindi variance ng ng deviations, ha. Isipin niyo hindi natin ginawa to. So kunin natin yung variance nitong log returns na to at saka yung standard deviation niya. And we'll get the same. Yan, pareho lang. Alright? Okay, so it's almost time. So ang assignment nyo, guys, is sa next meeting, guys, Control C, ganito, no? Dapat sa class may ganitong data na kayo. Apple, Microsoft, FB, Google, Tesla, ano pa yung isa, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ano pa yung rini-require natin, guys? Amazon, Tesla, Facebook. Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Diba 7 to? Ano yung isa? Guys, ano yung isa? Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Tesla. Dalawa.
Netflix po, sir.
Netflix, and diba 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's
May
the other?
Amazon po ba kayo?
Ayun, Amazon. Thank you. Yan. Salamat. Yan. Okay. Ito, guys, ha. So, andito yung ano start date natin? 1/1/2018. And then hanggang dapat pare-pareho tayo dito. 12. Control C. Yan. Okay. So, side by side, guys, ha. Side by side yung mga prices. Okay, and then kukompute natin yung mga returns nila, kukompute natin yung yung standard deviation, and then compare natin, guys, kung sino yung risky using the log returns, sino yung pinaka-highest returns, sino yung pinaka-risky. Okay, so that's individual assets. And then what we're going to learn next will be to learn how to compute the portfolio, the returns and risk of a portfolio. That's the reason why, guys, sa finance sinasabi nila, do not just put your eggs in one basket. Kaya nga, it's always important to have a diversification of assets. Punta ilang percent sa Google, ilang percent sa Amazon, etc. Kasi ang purpose nun, kaya nagda-diversify, is that it mitigates against the risk. It lowers down your risk. Okay? So let me pause recording. Stop.